in between wedges can be such a challenging situation you find yourself in. I play with 3 wedges. I have a 46, a 53, and a 58. I recommend that you have more than that. I recommend that you have 4, most 5-degree loft differentials between the wedges. And then make sure that you go, like if your pitching wedge is 44, that you go 48, 52, 56, 60, or maybe you go 49, 54, and 60 or 61. Do something like that if you want to go to 4 wedges instead of 5. I play 3. So my 46, 53, and 58, those are the clubs that I use. That puts me in between clubs quite often, and something that you need to do in order for you to improve is to understand that wedges, by definition, you're going to have in-between shots. Whether it's a 40-yard shot or a 50-yard shot or an 80-yard shot, doesn't matter. You can get in between these clubs. And you need to understand how to do this. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends about what we've got going on here. And I'm going to talk to you about the swing for in-between clubs. Now, this is something that takes a little practice time, okay? And you got to get used to this. You want to calibrate what you do with the distance that you have. So my 53, always try to calibrate. I play for 105. So let's see if we can get 105 out of this here. And I'm not looking for absolute 105. I'm looking for right around 105. I'm not perfect. I'm just going to try to get around 105. This one here, I kind of shut the face down, so I turned it a little bit to the left, but that's pretty good. There's the 105 flag. That one there, all the numbers are really, really good. I like what that did, and the distance on that was 103. So I like my calibration. When I'm trying to calibrate, I'll make 3 swings, so I'll make one other. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just make one more and see if we can get this one to do about the same thing, okay? So here we go. Pretty good swing there, a little bit left of that one, but the number here, and that's pretty good. So if we look up over here, the other one went about 103. This one over here flew about 106, settles at 105. It had a little bit of left play to it, but that shot, you can go ahead and pull that full there, Gibbsy. That shot looks like it's about 6 feet to the left of the hole. A shot I'm very, very happy with. I like that, like that's one. If I'm hitting a shot from 105 and that comes out and I've got a 6-footer, I'm thrilled. Really, honestly thrilled. You should be too. But I'm going to pay attention to now what's going on with my club head speed, what's going on with my ball speed. So club head speed there was about 80, so that's a little bit faster than I might normally do it. And then ball speed 87, that's pretty good. Backspin, the spin numbers at about 9,100. Now, in swing thoughts. Many times, and I shouldn't even say this, people come to me and they start talking about in-between wedges and they go, yeah, I use a clock method. Okay, great. So the clock method would be this. 7:30 would be right over here. So if the clock pops up, you're going to see, yeah, perfect. So there's 7:30 right there. And then 9 o'clock is going to be right here. And then 10:30 is going to be up here. And you're talking about where your lead arm goes to. So for the right-handed golfer, that's going to be the numbers. If you're left-handed, it'll obviously be the opposite, okay? Now, there were a lot of times when people were doing in-between wedges that would come to me and go, I'm using the clock method, where they wouldn't turn their body. And so they would take the club to 9 o'clock, but their chest wouldn't move at all. And all of a sudden, this swing looks like this, and then they hit it, and as they're trying to take distance off, one time they're going to hit one and that goes 77 yards, and the next time it goes 87 yards, and the next time it goes 97 yards, because there's an inconsistency in how much their body is moving. And then to that end, when they get to here, they run out of energy. Sometimes they miss the strike. Sometimes they're delivering less loft. I want to show you something. If I put that club down, I just take my arm and I move it across my chest like this. My glove is outside of my trail shoulder, my right shoulder, by about maybe a foot or slightly more. If I close my hand, it's about a foot. Now, if I turn my chest and move it to 9 o'clock, that obviously is much greater. Now it's the full length of my arm. Look at where my hand is in space, so you can see that my hand is touching or nearly touching that Titleist bag. If I go back to here like this, I'm still at 9 o'clock, but look at how much that's moved in there. My arc will get very, very narrow. The swing of the club will get very narrow, more like a V. And when you start to do that, what ends up happening is you're driving this club into the ground instead of the club moving along the ground. So I tried the clock method, and I found the same thing happened to me. I had some inconsistencies, and I also would have inconsistencies in strike on the face. Now, we all get that, but I got a lot more variance in where my strike was taking place than when I started doing this method that I'm going to explain with you now. So I'm going to urge you to kind of maybe not have 3 different positions, clock positions. You don't necessarily need that, but you need to have 2 different positions, okay? And what I like to do is this. I like to use an alignment stick. I'm going to put the alignment stick on the ground like this. Now, I'll call that a 12 o'clock position, or maybe even call it second base if you're a baseball fan, which I've recently started using this because I like the analogy to baseball. I'm a baseball player. I'm a shortstop. So what I want you to think about is I want you to think about the line of your shoulders. And when you turn, this would be second base, this would be third base, and the shortstop is going to be playing right here. I'm going to turn my shoulders to the shortstop. Now, if you don't want to use the baseball analogy, what I do is I think, okay, this foot is coming up here like this. So where my lead toe is going to there. I try to put this into this gap between what I would say 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock. So 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I'm putting it into the gap right here. So I'm going to turn my shoulders into the gap or turn my shoulders to shortstop. When my shoulders get there, and the easy way for you to do this is visually, you just want to turn so much that your shoulder, your lead shoulder, doesn't get behind the golf ball. So when you're looking at it with your eye, you turn it and stop your shoulders just shy of the golf ball. That'll be in the gap. That'll be the shortstop. And what'll happen is that you'll shorten the length that the club will travel. Okay? So, again, remember 105 is what I'm getting out of this club. And I got, I can't remember exactly what the ball speed was, 87. I think the club head speed was near 80, like 79. So now what's going to happen here is that I'm going to turn this to there. When I get there, now I'm going to go through. I got that just a little bit thin, so it wasn't quite the great strike that I was looking for. But club head speed went to 70, ball speed went to 76. Let's try it again. This one was a much better strike, much more predictable. I got that to go. Now I got 77 out of the ball speed, 72 out of the club head speed, and the total distance was 90. Now, what I normally try to get when I make this alteration is a 10-yard differential. It's not important that you get a 10-yard difference. It's that you start to see some consistency with it. So if you get 15 different, great. If you get 12, great. But what you want is you want a difference, okay? So let's do this again. I'm going into the gap. That was pretty good there. It felt short. That strike felt pretty good. 77, 71. I like that a lot. Okay, now I'm starting to see some consistency with what I'm getting. That one's the one that I'll play. So this is my play shot. And there you go. So come on up here now, because this is where I'm going to play at. So club head speed drops to 75. It was at 80 before, so that came down a little bit, right? Should have. The ball speed dropped to 81, so that comes down a little bit. My overall distance gets to 95 yards, which is what I want to try to get. The launch angle is consistent as 29. I like to get it under 30 unless I'm moving the ball position around a bit. But my point is that by thinking about what I'm doing with my shoulders in the gap, now all of a sudden I get my 10-yard differential. And if I end up getting a 13-yard off that, that's fine. I don't mind getting less. I don't mind the inconsistencies in it because we're not perfect. We just want to have a more or less. This is a plus minus game. I'm trying to get plus minus 10, right? So as long as I get 13, I'm fine. I don't want it to be 4. This is pretty good here. Let's see what we get. And there you go. There's the 95. So that landed at 94. So really good. 73 and 80 again. Launched it at 28. So there's some consistency with that one. Let me hit one more here. And what I want you to do when you practice this, do this. Take an alignment stick, lay it on the ground just like this, okay? So that's going to be right at the shortstop. Now when you get in here, when you turn, you want to feel like your shoulders are matching up to that alignment stick on the ground there, just like that. So we get set up square, ball position right under the nose. This is pretty good too. Maybe a touch. No, it's perfect. Wow. Okay, so come on and look at the numbers. I thought I swung a little bit harder on that one. 74 miles an hour of club head speed, 81 on the ball, carried 96, stopped at 95, and really predictable. Very happy with that shot. And what I want you to do is I want you to practice this. Once you start practicing all this stuff, now you have a club that is a 105 club, but you can take 10 yards off it. Maybe your club is a 90-yard club, and you can lose an additional 10 and get it to 80. And if I do that with my other wedges, so now I have 3 of those, I'm losing 10 off of that. So my 135 club is a 125. My 95 is now an 85. And that's what I'm doing with my swing. And then I'm using that swing and I'm mixing all that stuff up together with some pre-swing alterations. And those pre-swing alterations with the in-swing alteration covers all my gaps that I need to have. And all I got to do is remember, okay, what am I doing and how am I getting this number to where I want to get it to cover the distance that I need to have. Give this a try. I'm telling you, it's going to help you improve those in-between wedges. To improve all parts of your game, subscribe to my channel and click the link below.